This is Sarah Dunn, and you're watching Stardom E-Magazine.
How you doing? It's Howie back again with Stardom E-Magazine, here with I would say a local, especially treasure, but she's just been making the rounds here locally and nationally, and we're just excited to be able to sit down with Sarah Dunn. Yeah, and the crowd goes wild from the Sarah Dunn Band. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited to talk to you all as well. I have been kind of making the rounds nationally, and now I'm sort of making the local rounds again, so it's very good to be back in my hometown, my home area.
Well, we're just going to talk a little bit about what you have coming up and kind of some of the things you've been doing, and we'll do a lightning round as well, so okay. There'll be some interesting questions here.
Too early. I'm not lightning quick yet.
All right, tell me a little bit about the music that's been charting, especially a Cowboys Face. That sounds kind of personal. Tell me about that.
Cowboys Face was one that I had written in memory of a family member of mine, my Uncle Gene, who was a huge influence in the early formation of some of my ideas in music and what I thought was just good music. And he was, of course, a huge personal influence to me. He affected me in so many ways, and I just loved him. And he had such a unique personality and sort of a way about him. And so I wrote that song in memory of him. And it was very surprising in a good way to see, because it runs in the vein of more traditional country. Yeah. So it was a nice surprise to see that one chart, because we're kind of getting more into the pop country these days. So it was a neat thing.
Whenever I hear lines like "salvation is found in a Cowboy's face," that makes it personal to you. But how do you want that music to connect to the audience?
Well, I would hope that there's sort of that person in everybody's life that sort of knows when to encourage you or when to have a come to Jesus with you. And I wanted that to strike an emotional chord with the listeners in that way. Yeah.
Now, have a come to Jesus meeting. I mean, you sound like you have a good time. You don't have many of those meetings, do you? You have a good time wherever you go, it seems. That is infectious to the crowd wherever you are. Do you hear that a lot?
I do. I hear a lot of those phrases that I'm, a ray of sunshine, and not sarcastically either, no. But I try to be, because I think it really is what you make it. I think your attitude affects everything around you and all the people around you. So if you walk into a situation sort of with that positive attitude and you're glowing, I think it just it sets a tone for everything.
Yeah. Tell me about Unbridle Me, coming out March 26th.
That song is all about freedom. It's exactly how it sounds. To just let a person be who they are, who they're meant to be, and that's a huge theme in my life. I've had some amazingly supportive people who just have always encouraged me to be who I wanted to be and who I thought I was meant to be. So that is going to be coming up very soon, and I'm excited to see where it goes and to see how that touches people as well.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, your music up to date is amazing. March 26th is when Unbridle Me comes out, and I expect that to go even higher on the Billboard charts. Yeah!
Hey, I hope so.
Who do you like to, growing up, we all have artists that we like to pattern ourselves after a little bit. Who are some of your influences?
Oh, I have a really wide range of influences, because I was lucky enough to have a mom and a bunch of family members who are musicians as well. So I was introduced to a lot of different genres and a lot of different styles of music. But some of my favorites were always like Stevie Nicks and Dolly Parton and Billie Holiday and some of the jazz classics like that. And of course, Loretta Lynn, sort of for her toughness. And of course, I'm amazed at all of the modern country artists now too, the ladies who are out there, and they're just tough as nails in a business that can be very brutal. So I've got to tip my hat to some of the lady musicians and some of the vocal groups as well, like the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac and that kind of thing.
Oh, you can't forget Fleetwood Mac.
That's right.
Gypsy!
That's right.
All right, let's do a little lightning round here. If there was a movie about your life, who would play you?
Oh, Miranda Lambert.
Whoa!
Yay! I would love to have her play me because she's just, she's beautiful, number one. That would be a high compliment to have her play me. But she's also so smart and sassy, and I just love her.
Yeah. What would the title of your movie be?
Born on Rocky Ridge.
Why?
Because that was my childhood home. That's what we called it, because the ground was so rocky. It was just nothing but rocks out there, and it was just being on that farm and having that sort of that rural life and all the hard work that it made me do really shaped me. That's where Sarah Dunn was born. You know what I mean?
And that's what you want people walking away from your shows to feel too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that life it hands you important lessons at important times in your life, and that was one of mine. To grow up having to do a lot of hard work, and we sort of had to struggle because as far as material things, we didn't have a lot. It sort of instilled in me the ideas of working hard for what you have and being grateful for what you have and relying on your family and those closest to you. Yeah.
And so that fits with the country music genre because you're telling those stories.
That's right.
Where do you like to take people in your writing? Whenever you're sitting down and you're going to do some writing, where do you go?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's sort of a different experience with every song. For me, I call upon a lot of my personal life experiences, obviously for my writing, but I try to. I try to bring people mostly to a positive place, or to a place that they can sort of self-reflect within.
Wow.
Which is what I do a lot during my writing, is a lot of self-reflection.
Wow. Well, it comes out, and people are always left better when your music is over than when they came. And so that's got to be super encouraging for you.
Well, thank you. That's a huge compliment. Yeah. Thank you.
It's good. It's good. We look forward to hearing more. Unbridle Me, March 26th, is coming out, and we can't wait to see what the national implications of this song are. Thank you for sitting down with us. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
All right. It's Stardom E-Magazine here with Sarah Dunn. Woohoo! All right. We'll catch you again, Stardom E-Magazine.